Welcome once again to another edition of Quoth the Raven, Louis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Louis Bright Raven, 30-year veteran writer, illustrator, and editor of comics, science fiction, fantasy, horror, and role-playing games. And today is a special edition show with my usual Friday co-host, John Norris. Welcome, John.
Hey, everybody.
And tonight we're going to be talking about the DC Round Robin 2022 edition. We're going to review the different titles and what we think of what we would pick as fans. Maybe even do other things with these things, explain why we made our picks. But before we do that, give you a quick update. We don't know how well this video is going to stay on or not. There's been some really bad weather in our area. We've had rain and tornado watches, and actual tornadoes touch down in the general area around us, and the bad weather is heading to his parents, so he's got his phone on, so if the phone rings, that's probably his parents.
Yep.
And John wanted to give you an update on his health. We talked about his hernia last time. Go ahead.
Yes. So for those who don't know, Friday a couple of weeks ago, I went to an urgent care and had a CT scan done because I was having pain in my groin area, and doctor came back and said that the CT scan revealed 2 hernias. So I was referred to a surgeon, and I went to see him yesterday, and he doesn't think it's hernias. He thinks it might be lipomas, which is like fatty tissue that's just bunched up into a mound, pretty much. A mass. So they're supposed to be setting me up with another appointment to get that checked out. But it would be nice not to have surgery, but who knows?
Yeah, well, with palomas, you never know. If you've ever watched some of the, I think it's the Learning Channel. I can't remember the thing, but it's a female plastic surgeon, and that's what she does. She removes palomas from all over the body. So it is surgical, but it's not nearly as bad as having a hernia surgery. So hopefully, if that's the case, and there's some other treatment options that they're looking at too, but we're not going to get into that. But hopefully, it's good news and it won't be a hernia situation.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get into things. Hopefully, it's good news and it won't. Sorry about that. My opened my YouTube page instead of my other. We'll go with the first book, or first 2 books that they've done opposite one another. And it's Hawkman and Hawkwoman the Changeling. And they describe it. By the way, they don't give us any information as to who the creative teams are on these. Just the name of the title and a brief blurb to go by.
Yeah, this is literally what we get right here.
Hawkman and Hawkwoman have never had children together. They know that for a fact. Then who is Hector Hall, the hot-headed, razor-winged teen who claims to be their son? Can they trust their own memories or each other? Or Wildcat, 9 lives. Wildcat's spent 8 of his 9 lives showing the ropes to some of the DC Universe's heaviest hitters, and he's got the scarred knuckles and reset bones to prove it. But now he's only got 1 more life to go. How fearless would you be if you knew it was your last round in the ring? Okay, John, which one did you pick?
I'm going to go with Wildcat 9 Lives.
Okay, and why is that?
Well, Wildcat, he's not a character that's very well known to me. I mean, I have seen him in some of the animated shows, like he's popped up in Batman Brave and the Bold, so I know like a little bit about him. But what really intrigues me is the premise, and okay. Now I could make a joke and say, being a cat myself, I know all about having 9 lives. I feel like I'm going through some of them right now. But it's the notion of how would you live your life when you think it's coming to an end, and I just find that intriguing.
Okay, interesting. Okay, I picked Hawkman and Hawkwoman because I feel exactly the opposite about Wildcat, says you. To me, if he's already gone through his 8 lives and he's on his ninth and he knows, it's no different than any other police officer or fireman or soldier who knows that they're potentially putting their life on the line every time they go out to do their job. So, non-story to me. So that's why I picked Hawkman and Hawkwoman over Wildcat. But, maybe it's because I've read a little bit more than you, and I'm more familiar with the character as well. And I've read.
I would say that is definitely true.
So, but that's why I picked Hawkman and Hawkwoman over Wildcat. Okay. Our next one is the questions. Grand solution. What happens when people from all walks of life are activated as faceless vigilantes and they're each forced to solve an alternate reality game where the stakes are life and death? That's the question. But does Renee Montoya have the solution? Or Constantine and the Demon, Vacation from Hell. Arcane guile meets hellish fury. John Constantine is forced to play host to Etrigan the Demon, and the pair embark on a deeply personal and potentially apocalyptic mission. Journeying back home to Liverpool, Constantine must confront the ghosts from his past, and Etrigan isn't exactly his first choice for an ally. Go ahead. Which one did you pick?
This was a tough one because they both didn't really seem that interesting to me.
Okay.
But if I had to pick one, I would pick Questions. Again, not because it was more interesting necessarily. It's just, I don't know, I'm just not into Constantine or Etrigan.
Okay, that's fair enough. I also picked Questions, Grand Solution. Partly because, well, I don't like the idea of Constantine and Etrigan together with him hosting Etrigan. It doesn't quite work in my mind because the way, it just did not appeal to me. Plus, there's other books that are being offered that also feature Etrigan in this list. So I was just like, what's going on here? I picked the Questions as well. Alrighty. Next one is Suicide Squad Dark. A team of occult misfits and monsters, assembled by Amanda Waller and led by Vampire Batman, are forced into a mind-melting suicide mission to assassinate Earth 13's League of Shadows, or Justice League Redacted. Green Arrow has watched many heroes, the great, the good, the kind, be forever scarred by the darkness they swear to fight. Rather than sit by and let any more of his friends fall to the festering abyss, he decides to create a Justice League Black Ops team of fighters who can survive a few more shadows, because as far as he's concerned, they may already be lost. Green Arrow's team of Nemesis, Killer Frost, Manhunter, Metamorpho, and Cheshire are needed more than ever. Green Arrow was worried about what happens when you look in the abyss in the eye. That goes double when Johnny Sorrow and Merlin team up. Which one did you pick?
I picked Justice League. My first thought was, just what we need, another book for these teams. Like we don't have enough already, but I'm assuming when they say Manhunter, they mean Martian Manhunter.
No, they mean the Manhunter that Walt Simonson did.
Ah, okay.
I can't remember the character's real name identity, but he's an assassin type guy. That's more appropriate than Martian Manhunter.
but really, I picked Justice League over Suicide Squad really for one reason, and that is Metamorpho.
Okay.
Because I think I've been able to read some of the Metamorpho comics, and I think Metamorpho is a pretty cool character.
Okay. Interesting choice. I don't know how Metamorpho actually fits into that, because to me, he's not someone who's lost to me. But that's just my take on the character. I actually chose Suicide Squad Dark because to me, the Justice League doesn't need a Black Ops team. That's the antithesis of what the Justice League represent to me. So I just completely put me off. But I totally understand why you would pick that team because, well, Suicide Squad Dark is basically the same thing as regular Suicide, just with Vampire Batman. So it's like, what's different about that? So, it wasn't exactly great choices. Okay. Firestorm, Fourth World Problems. When Ronnie Raymond and Jason Rusch make the startling discovery that the Firestorm Matrix contains a spark of the life equation, Darkseid and his army turn their sights toward the teenage nuclear heroes. But can Ronnie and Jason put their differences aside and combine in a firestorm, or will Darkseid claim the Matrix for himself in Apocalypse? Or Kid Flash, The Speed of Fear. Reverse Flash melds with Parallax, an unprecedented combination of the Speed Force and the fear-based Yellow Power Ring to create a deadly speed ring to shatter Oa's central Green Lantern battery. A confused and isolated Kid Flash, Wally West, must chase Thawne, that's Reverse Flash, across a variety of aliens' worlds to stop him and the Sinestro Corps, while his own powers die because of Kid Flash's slow disconnection with the Speed Force. Your choice.
I'm going to pick Kid Flash.
Okay.
Well, and of course, you know how I feel about the Flash, and and really, I mean, that's
the gist of it,
pretty much. And I will say it again, not knowing who the creative team is or not being able to see any samples of artwork, but I will say, for the most part, with Flash titles, I've liked the artwork.
Okay. I picked the other one. I picked Firestorm. The reason I picked Firestorm was, to me, it had more potential of being both the kind of like buddy cop story between Ronnie and Raymond, or Ronnie Raymond and Jason Rusch. There we go. And it also would play up the tropes of the white person versus the black person, because Ronnie's white and Jason's black and other things. And how does that play out? And it might bring in some of the same tropes that, classic movies like 48 Hours with Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy, stuff like that. I could see some potential for that type of a story, perhaps, with this character. Whereas with the Flash, I've kind of seen the whole, let's use different ways to destroy the Oa power battery before. And I've seen Wally deal with losing the Speed Force before and having issues with the Speed Force in the past. So it wasn't anything fresh or new to me. So I thought I'd go ahead and try Firestorm. Okay, our next one is Black Canary. When Canaries Cry, which we'll get into that in a minute. But when Black Canary intercepts an intelligence operative trying to deliver sensitive material in an encrypted disk, she finds herself plunged into the world of espionage to contend with an international consortium known only as Mysterium. With the help of a French spy, Dinah must stop this shadow organization from instigating war for their own profit. Or Green Lantern and the Light at the End of Forever. In a dark, far future, a galaxy gripped by tyranny, when an elderly farmer in the backwater system is brutalized by the latest thugs with jetpacks and jackboots to call themselves lawmen, he remembers a forgotten past, an era of champions, a cadre of noble peacekeepers long since vanished. His name, he's sure of it, is John Stewart. Whatever happened to the Green Lantern Corps, and is it too late to reignite the light? Well, I think we both picked the same one this time.
Green Lantern?
Yes, we both picked Green Lantern. Mostly because we couldn't get past the title of Black Canary When Canaries Cry. Both of us immediately thought of Prince and When Doves Cry, I think. And the fact that they've already done a Black Canary storyline where she is a rock and roll singer in a band that also does espionage stuff. It was like, is this a continuation of that concept, or is this something new or not? And that didn't really come clear in the presentation. And the whole fact that she's going to get it on an encrypted disk. Who uses disks anymore?
Beats me.
Encrypted thumb drive, maybe. But not a disk. I mean, Although in a way, encrypting it on a disk would actually be better because nobody has a tech to do it on the disk anymore. Oh, that's all. It's all old. We can't figure out how to read the disk anymore. I don't know, but we both picked Green Lantern. I thought it was just a little more interesting concept. Mm-hmm. Okay, our next one is DC Horror, Ghost Tour from Hell. A frantic mother begs Madame Xanadu's help in finding her missing son, last seen on a ghost tour with friends. Xanadu's reading reveals there's a nefarious being behind his appearances in New Orleans. Enlisting the help of the demon Etrigan, like I said, here he is again, and Deadman, the trio quickly realize that they're on a ghost tour from hell and they're no match for these supernatural kidnappers. Or Animal Man, the Metamorphosis. Buddy Baker, a.k.a. Animal Man, has serious problems. His home life is in shambles, his daughter's powers are awakening, and the world needs him, but he's stuck. He needs change. Soon Animal Man will enter a cocoon, but when the metamorphosis is complete, what will emerge? Well, you see what I pick already, but what did you pick, John? Mm-hmm.
I picked Animal Man as well.
Okay, you picked Animal Man. Why did you not pick the Ghost?
Well, like the Questions versus Constantine is just, supernatural horror, just
not your thing.
Right.
Oh, fair enough. I've had people ask me what a ghost tour is. They don't know what a ghost tour is. And I'm like, okay. Basically, a ghost tour is when you go tour New Orleans or other places where they have haunted houses or different parts of different cities where violent crimes or activities happened, and you go visit. And maybe you have people that are like ghost hunters as your guides that'll show you different things that maybe they exist and maybe they don't. Now, part of the reason I was like, and New Orleans is very popular for ghost tours, by the way. But the thing is, if he's in Constantine, he can't be here. So I was like, those two both offset each other in a way by doing that. So okay, and like we say, Animal Man is a decent enough character, and he has enough of a following. So okay, no problem with picking that one. Our next book is Green Lantern: The Birth of Conspiracy. In 1947, 3 events kindled America's fascination with UFOs: the Men in Black flying saucer sightings and the Roswell crash. 3 low-level government employees tasked with monitoring superheroes realized that one person was at all 3 events: the Green Lantern. He hasn't been seen since. Or Captain Carrot and his best friend Darkseid. The interdimensional space epic no one asked for. Darkseid is trying to eliminate the newest new god, but the extremely yes, there we go. Yes, we hate us too. Zukru is determined to reach their long foretold Captain Carrot first before friendship ruins everything. Well, we both picked Captain Carrot on this.
It was by far the easiest decision out of all of them for me.
Well, partly because you're just a fan of Captain Carrot and that whole animal as heroes trope to begin with. But I think part of the problem with that Green Lantern Birth of Conspiracy thing is I have to make sure I'm correct on this. Yeah. Okay. They say that the Men in Black started in 1947, but it really didn't take place until the mid 1950s. Is when they were really brought into existence in popular culture. So I was like a little bit put off by that. It just didn't ring quite true with me. But technically, if they go with Harold Dahl, then yes, that goes back to 47. So I guess I understand where they said that, but I guess but I wouldn't say that was like anything to do with Green Lantern necessarily, especially if we don't know which Green Lantern it is. If it's 47, is it the Alan Scott Green Lantern, or is it the Hal Jordan Green Lantern in 47? Because that doesn't make sense, because Hal Jordan didn't get introduced until the 60s in the Silver Age. So we have to assume it's Alan Scott, and if it's Alan Scott, I just don't understand why he has anything to do with the science fiction flying saucer bit. But I think that's kind of why we both picked Captain Carrot there.
Have you ever met Scott Shaw?
Yeah, long time ago.
I've only met him like way back in the days of the Comic Book Resources chat room, but he seemed like a cool guy.
Yeah, he's all right. Yeah, I got no problem with him. I saw him at San Diego Con a couple times in passing. I mean, we didn't, hang out and have a major conversation, but passing, hey, how you doing type thing. Let's see, our last book, I believe. Yes, okay. Our last book is, our last 2 books, I should say. Last pairing for the first round is Superboy, the Man of Tomorrow. Determined to find his place in a strange universe, Connor Kent, Superboy, leaves Earth behind. But his journey of self-discovery brings him face to face with a group of freedom fighters who challenge not just everything Connor stands for, but what it means to bear the Superman crest. Versus Cyborg, Cyber Gods. Cyborg has grown so powerful that he no longer needs to leave his cold metal lair. Whatever that means. He fights the good fight, but only virtually with cyborg replicas. When the supervillain Gizmo and Clarion, the witch boy, mix magic with tech, they become powerful technomancers. Cyborg is joined by Beast Boy, who tries to remind him of his true power, his human self, his human spirit. Cyborg must reconnect with his human side and face the world, or Gizmo will become an omnipotent, unchallenged cyber god, and Clarion will get what he's always wanted: chaos and destruction. You picked?
I picked Superboy for this one, really because between Superboy and Cyborg, I've always liked Superboy better as a character.
Okay. All right. I did exactly the opposite. I picked Cyborg. Mostly because I just want to see a Cyborg story done right, please. Please. But I don't expect it. But I'm also not a big fan of the Superboy character. I like him okay when he's wearing the black T-shirt with the red S, but like the original Connor Kent from the '90s, where he was where he had the fade haircut and the glasses and the jacket.
Yeah,
I never cared for that version much, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. To me, it was just, I won't say it was a no-brainer. This was actually the toughest one for me because both characters are decent enough that there's a worthwhile potential story there. But I guess I just went with Cyborg because I prefer Cyborg as a character. Okay, so those are our picks. This is Figaro's bracket. He picked Wildcat over
Hawkman and Hawkwoman.
Yeah. Questions over Constantine and Demon, Justice League Red Acting over Suicide Dark, and Kid Flash over Firestorm. Between Questions and Wildcat, you still picked Wildcat.
Yep.
And between Kid Flash and Justice League Red Acted, surprisingly, you picked Justice League Red Acted.
I did.
Why is that?
And again, it's just I'd be interested to see what they do with Metamorpho.
Okay. On the other side, you had Green Lantern, and the idea of Forever versus Black Canary. You picked Green Lantern.
Yep.
You picked Animal Man Metamorphosis over Ghost Tour from Hell.
Yep.
You picked Captain Carrot over the other Green Lantern title, and you picked Superboy over Cyborg.
Yep.
Now you picked Green Lantern over Animal Man. Why did you do that?
Well, of course, and this is it's the John Stewart Green Lantern, and I remember, John Stewart was the Green Lantern in the Justice League cartoon, which I've always liked the Justice League cartoon. I thought it was very well done, and just I thought the premise of the story, to me, is kind of like, what happens to superheroes whose glory days are behind them. And I thought that was an interesting premise.
Okay. And then lastly, Captain Carrot versus Superboy. Yes. And of course, you picked Captain Carrot again.
Of course.
That leaves Green Lantern versus Captain Carrot, and you picked Captain Carrot again.
I would just love to see more Captain Carrot.
And then Wildcat over Justice League Red Acted, which was kind of a surprise.
Well, again, it's just the premise for Wildcat really intrigues me.
Okay, and then for your final two, Wildcat versus Captain Carrot. Well, we already know what you're going to pick. You're going to pick Captain Carrot versus and his friend Darkseid. And again, this is there's no way that the rest of the world's going to pick what you picked. I hate to say that, but it's a cool pick. It's different. You're trying to throw people a curveball, which is cool. And conversely, here's what I picked. I picked Hawkman and Hawkwoman and the Questions. I picked Suicide Squad Dark and Firestorm. I picked Green Lantern and The Light Forever and Animal Man, Captain Carrot over Green Lantern and a Perfect Conspiracy, and Cyborg over Superboy. Now, I picked Questions over Hawkman and Hawkwoman because I wasn't really into Hawkman and Hawkwoman to begin with, but it was Wildcat just was not a story to me, so I just, went with Questions. Suicide Squad Dark, we've gone into that mostly because Justice League Redacted just doesn't, it's not Justice League to me. And I picked Firestorm over Suicide Squad Dark because I'm not really a Suicide Squad guy. So I figured that was the better of those two, which left me with Questions versus Firestorm. And I just happen to like Renee Montoya better as a character than I do the Firestorm characters, so I went with Questions. On the other side, we both agreed on Green Lantern and Animal Man. We both agreed on Green Lantern and The Life Forever for Jon Stewart. I picked Cyborg instead of Superboy. I picked Captain Carrot. I went ahead like you and put Captain Carrot over Cyborg as well, just to throw the curveball in there. And I also picked Captain Carrot over Green Lantern, again, to throw the curveball in there. But at the end of the day, I have to be a realist. Captain Carrot's not going to win, so I had to pick the Questions. And neither one of our choices are going to make the pick. I can tell you that right now. That's not what the fans are going to pick. I don't know what they're going to pick, but the first round had the percentage of voting, and believe it or not, almost none of our first round picks even won.
Oh, I can believe that. That's
so.
That's like the downer about doing these is like knowing that there are titles you would love to see that are not going to get picked and are not going, at least for now, are not going to see the light of day.
Right.
Even though you like them to.
Yeah. So, but it's a cool thing. That's pretty much our picks. Maybe you guys out there watching, we've had a few people coming in and out, haven't said hello to us, but they've been watching a little bit, have some thoughts, but they've already had the first round. I don't know if the second round voting has started or not, but supposedly in the second round, they're going to start telling us who the creative teams are. And then the third round, they'll start showing artwork. That's how they're going to do it. But I figured, if you can't pick from just the title and the blurb, what are you doing? Because in reality, that's what a lot of retailers do anyway. Especially back in the old days when we had those catalogs, you just had a list of the name, the title. You might have the creative team, the last names of the creators on the book, maybe, and then a blah, and then the blurb, and then they had to pick how many copies they were going to order of each title. That was the way it was all throughout the 80s and into the early 90s before Marvel left for Heroes World. So I figured we could do that too, right?
Sure.
Okay. So that closes up things for today. Appreciate you coming by, John. John's not going to be with us this Friday. He has another medical appointment this Friday for teeth this time.
Yep.
And so I figured he would probably not be in very good shape to do it. So we went ahead and did this today instead. So if you enjoyed our video, or you think others might, please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons to continue to get content from this channel. As always, I thank you for your support and for watching. If you want to contact me on Facebook, Lewis.BrightRaven, at Twitter at LewisBrightRave2. You can find my artwork at deviantart.com/BrightRaven. You can find John on Facebook at John.Norris.
Yep.
Okay, John.Norris. Okay. And You've been watching Quoth Raven, Lewis Bright Raven exclusively on YouTube. If you want to email me with questions or comments, or you want to commission artwork, Quoth the Raven LBR72 at gmail.com is the address to reach me at. And if I don't get back to you within a day or so, try lewisbrightraven at yahoo.com. If you want to get a hold of John via email, it's Grey, Grey, Figaro, Figaro, at hotmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And that is all for tonight, folks. So have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow with another daily question, provided the weather around here doesn't get rainy all again, because it's supposed to be raining here in our area until Thursday. Fun.
Mm-hmm.
See you guys next time. Have a great night.